Hey friends, Beck the feminist lawyer, looking a hot mess, but had to address something. I just had somebody ask me how to deal with the identity crisis that comes with deconstruction of a religious mindset. And she's not joking. I mean, it's an identity crisis for a lot of people. A lot of religions teach you that you need to build your entire personality, the whole way that you show up in the world around this religion and, what they believe that you should be bringing to the world. And for a long time, if you had asked me who I was, one of the first adjectives I would have used was Catholic. Sorry, I went and turned the fan off because there was like a strobe going on behind me. Anyway, so it does really get rooted into your personality, and there's so much of what you believe and who you are that is based in those assumptions and those agreements that you have been, in most ways, forced to make in order to thrive in the environment that you're in. Just for an example that I've used many times on this channel, I was a staunch anti-abortion advocate for a really long time. It was my number one issue. I talked about it all the time. I marched on Washington. I participated in Marches for Life in cities all over the East Coast. And I was a single issue voter there for a minute. I used to say, what do any of the rights matter if we don't have the right to life? And then on top of that, I had built this network. I had all these friends, all of these, business contacts, professional contacts, societal contacts that had sort of helped propel me forward in my life that came from Catholicism. So this isn't about me. The point is, I understand what this moment feels like. It's an entire rewrite of who you are, essentially, and how you're going to show up in the world. So here's what I did during my deconstruction journey. First off, I got support. I went to a secular therapist and made sure that, it was someone that was not going to promote this toxic patriarchy and, victim blame kind of mentality that Christianity tends to hold. And next, I just kind of sat down with myself and I said, all right, there are a lot of things that now I know I don't believe in, and I'm focused on the don'ts, but I need to really know what I do believe in. And I sat with my spouse and we discussed it, and we were like, oh, shit, if all of this is not real and we've been sold a bill of goods and, this is all cult psychology, which we finally both sort of figured out at the same time. We were like, holy crap, this is not who we are. We sat together and we were like, all right, let's talk about what we do believe, the principles of goodness, the principles of connectedness, doing right by people around you, loving your neighbor, collective, well-being, etc. And we came up with our family credo, which is choose love, spread peace, defend both. And we have that written all over our house. There's we have trays and stuff with that written on it. It's our family credo. And what I do is I just run every decision I have to make through that litmus test. Is it choosing love? Is it spreading peace? Is it defending love or peace? If it's not any of those things, it's something that I probably need to reconsider. And it's funny because I can hear a lot of the people's brains out there saying, well, wow, you get up on your TikTok and you talk about fighting the good fight. How is that spreading peace? Well, yeah, you can't just let war run over everything that is good in the world. You can't let hate run over everything that's good in the world. That's what defending love and peace is about. So if you see somebody getting bullied, you're not backing away from peace by stepping in to defend the person being bullied. You're ensuring peace by defending against bullying. And if you see someone being a racist, any sort of bigotry, misogyny, etc., homophobia, when you stand up to that person, you're ensuring peace. You're defending love and peace. You're not making war. They are the ones that made that. So it actually became kind of fun. And I did a lot of this in trauma recovery therapy too, is that there was a lot of toxic programming, not just from a religious perspective, but from other perspectives that I had been sort of programmed with, really, really toxic mindsets, and lessons that I had been taught that were really terrible and they were ruining my life. So I needed to go through and deprogram like so much of what was in my mind and in my heart and in my instincts. And then I suddenly like emerged from some of this trauma therapy like a newborn babe, like looking at the world like, holy shit, like how do I even show up here? I don't even know who I am. I have no clue what's going on right now because everything I've ever been taught was toxic. And so I had to just resign myself to that and say, all right, you know what? I don't know anything. I don't know what I like. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I need. So I'm just going to show up in the world and observe. I'm going to let myself learn. I'm going to observe my natural reactions. I'm not going to censor myself at all. I'm not going to force myself into things that make me uncomfortable. I'm going to listen to my body. I'm going to listen to my instincts. And I'm just going to show up fully authentic and in the full knowledge that I don't know much about much. And I can't remember who said it, but it was a philosopher that said, I don't know is the beginning of wisdom. And that's exactly what happened. I showed up a sponge in the world and I figured out that, well, no, I'm not as extroverted as I thought I was. And, there are things that I was taught to be cool with that I wasn't cool with. And there are things that I was taught to want and need that I really didn't want or need. There were things that I was taught to stay away from that were actually for me. Just journal. So, I had somebody ask me to go to this particular bar today. And normally I would have said yes, because I thought going out and drinking at bars was like the thing that people did, but I really didn't want to do it. So I said no. And that felt more authentic to me. I realized today that I was always told to fetishize having high heels. Like I was told to have tons and tons of shoes in my closet. And I realized that like, I don't need tons of shoes. I have like 3 pairs of shoes or like 4 and I wear them all year long and none of them make my feet hurt. And I realized that I'm a whole lot happier when my feet don't hurt. One of the biggest ones for me was that I realized that the church had been victim blaming me, a lot of my life. If you're having troubles or you're having struggles, it must be because your faith isn't strong enough, or you haven't prayed hard enough, you haven't given it up to God enough. And it's like, that's toxic victim blame. Stuff like gender roles. I looked at it and I went, you know what? I really always did think that these gender roles were bullshit, but now I'm just like really not going to fall in line with this stuff. So now's the time to get to know yourself, to expose yourself to maybe new things, stuff you'd written off before, things that you thought you were too good for or weren't for you, or things that you thought you didn't like or shouldn't like. Just start experiencing the world as if you are like an alien that just got dropped on this planet and you need to learn about what humanity is all about. Go explore yourself, learn who you are, and then just start building. You are a work of art. Stay safe out there, friends, and keep fighting the good fight.